off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, TeeLive, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no K-words, no Kanye talk, past, present, or former. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. And also special series. It is Beautiful Wednesday because Wednesday is the day for Doctas in the House with my beautiful co-host, Dr. Tiffanie Tate. And we actually have a special happening again. We've only had this happen, actually twice before, where we have 3 doctors in the house because today we are celebrating. I know it's not today, but it's this week. It was 2 days ago, Indigenous Peoples Day. And I can't think of a better person to bring on board to talk about it, celebrate it, recognize it than our past guest, Dr. Crystal Lee. Every time I think of the C, I go to Sherilyn or Charity or something. But we have Crystal Lee here again. Please welcome to the studio both of my beautiful doctors in the house, Dr. Tiffanie Tate and Dr. Crystal Lee.
Always a pleasure.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to
Good
be
morning.
here.
Good morning. Good morning. And instead of reading off your impressive list of everything, I thought we would do introductions a little bit different this morning. And Dr. Tiffanie, I haven't done this to you in a while. So I'd like you to highlight and appreciate those things you've done that you want to share by asking you a question. I don't have an answering machine. I have a questioning machine. So when you call me, it says, "Who are you? And what do you want?" So we'll start with Dr. Tiffanie.
Well, I am Dr. Tiffanie Tate, board certified retired OBGYN, veteran officer of the United States Navy, and I want to change the world by writing one book at a time for adults and children. And you can find my books on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble.
All right. And Dr. Crystal Lee.
Hi, good morning, everyone. First and foremost, just to properly introduce myself, I am from the Tate Nation, which other people might know as the Navajo Nation. And my tribal clans are Tachii'nii, Tabaaha, Tsenjikini, and so that's how we properly introduce ourselves in our respective Native American language. By academic training, I am an infectious disease research doctor that specializes in preventative medicine. And I'm also CEO founder of United Natives and also assistant professor at University of New Mexico College of Population Health.
I'm so glad I didn't try to say any of that. In hindsight, this was the best way to have you introduced. I don't know how I did it last time, but I'm so delighted that you're here. I have a special love for you because this beautiful ring was given to me by Dr. Lee's mama, and I just love it. It has brought me plenty of love. We have a little bit of feedback, so I'm going to be playing with the microphones a bit so that I'm going to minimize it. I don't know. I think maybe the internet wherever you are, Dr. Lee, is a little bit funky because it's your mic. But when you're talking, I will unmic you. See if we can get rid of that sound. But anyways, I love this ring. Lots of compliments. Please give your mama some love. I got to meet her mom and a plethora of incredible people when United Natives did their first recognition or gala or fundraiser or awards, all of the above in Las Vegas earlier this year. So I want to recognize that. And I was very honored there first to be invited and then being there to cover the event. And it was fabulous. So I wanted to just say a special love to your mama.
Oh, thank you. I'll definitely let her know about your kind, embracing words. She absolutely loved you too. So it was a mutual love and respect there, Dr. Pei.
Awesome. All right. Gratitude sandwich, breakfast. I'm glad you didn't have to remind me, Dr. Tiffanie. We start every show with this good life habit. We take a bite of my gratitude sandwich, top of the bun, things you are grateful for, bottom of the bun, things that you like about yourself. Why do we do this? Because I don't want you starting the day with this. Meaningless scrolling is what I call it, MS. Instead, I want you to start focusing on what's good. That's why we don't talk about anything that everybody else is talking about right now in the news, because it's 99% not happy making. And there's plenty of news that's happy making. So that's what we focus on here. I am grateful for the fact that I get Dr. Crystal Lee and Dr. Tiffanie to start my day today. And there's no way it's going to be a bad day because we're starting, honoring Indigenous people and life. So that's what I'm grateful for. What are you grateful for, Dr. Tiffanie?
Well, yesterday I had the privilege to go to Savant Elementary School, which is a magnet school in the city of San Bernardino, and I was able to participate in their STEM program. I was their guest speaker, and I did a mini white coat ceremony to encourage them to enter the field of science and become little doctors. And they were given a grant by the government to do what's called a Dr. Me program. So it was very adorable. And I helped them go over the body and be introduced to anatomy. So we worked with models and I proctored them and educated them and inspired them and gave them their oath. So it was very adorable. I wore my original white coat that I was given when I was in medical school at Meharry Medical College. And it was just a beautiful, inspirational thing, and I just loved it.
That is so special. I hope you got some B-roll or some pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, I have to remind her sometimes to highlight her stuff. Dr. Crystal Lee, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for this week and how many people, especially on October 14th, was Indigenous Peoples Day, a celebration of inclusion and diversity as in regards to our Indigenous communities here in the United States. So I'm just really happy to see more visibility in our representation and also to be here to continue the visibility process. Thank you.
Absolutely. Shit. I'm grateful. One more each. I am grateful that tonight I'm not grateful that it's my last class, but I'm grateful that I got to teach at UCLA again after, I think, almost 20 years. I retired from teaching, and they brought me back to teach a course on personal mastery. Really, it's leadership success and happiness, and great students. And we wrap up tonight, and I'm just so grateful that we're finally talking about the things that people don't talk about when you talk about leadership. Self-sabotage, the critic in the head, perfectionism, fear of failure, fear of success, all the things that really are just as important as the content of your leadership style. So I'm really grateful that I got to design a new course, and present it, and it was applicable. And there's some students that these are mostly engineers. So to have engineers like the light go on that this is not a soft skill, this is a necessary skill, was just wonderful. What are you grateful for, Dr. Tiffanie?
I'm grateful because my heart is one in which I love to give back to the community, just like I gave back to the elementary school level. I too was able to give back to the residents, the family practice residents, and I gave them 2 lectures, one on well woman exams and one on abnormal uterine bleeding. So as a board certified OBGYN, I'm still able to educate the next generation of physicians. And so I really love teaching and volunteering and helping out. So that was still a beautiful thing.
Fantastic. Dr. Crystal Lee, hold on one second. There we go.
Okay. So I think one of the things that I'm grateful for is being part of a new biotech company that I'm part of. One of the cool things that we're doing is we have new antimicrobial products that can basically help the entire world to minimize infectious disease transmission in so many aspects. So I'm grateful for that.
Awesome. All right, let's go to the bottom of the bun. Dr. Tiffanie Tate, you start off. These are things that you like about yourself so that you're not walking around looking for love in all the wrong places, or likes, literally, to make yourself feel better. You know what you're fabulous at, and you know some things that you're not, but most of you is fabulous. And that's what we do, is highlight that on the bottom of the bun. So Dr. Tiffanie, start us off.
I'm going to start off with the fact that I am a worker bee. I like my ability to get things done, and people can call on me to get things done. So I am reliable. I like the fact that I'm reliable.
Fantastic. I'm going to say that I like the fact that I am enthusiastic.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, no shiitake. I just love my life. And I say that often, partially because when I'm, feeling really good, more good things are attracted to me. I kind of like the Asian Chinese woman Thor. I'm happy, I go like this, and then I get smacked with more good stuff. Dr. Crystal Lee, what do you like about yourself?
I really like who I am and where I come from. I really like that in so many ways, from my ancestors, my lineage, my culture, my heritage, my family. So I'm grateful for that. And I just love being me, being a Navajo woman.
I love the language when you were explaining the tribes, and it was like a song. I felt like I was in the middle of a song. So it was so beautiful. Thanks for joining us for breakfast this morning. I hope that you continue this good life habit, this hashtag Blisscipline, for the next 28 consecutive days, and you'll create a great habit. All righty. And now for the topic of the day. It is the recognition and celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day, which was on the 14th of October, a couple of days ago. And I'm going to start with Dr. Crystal Lee and ask her, what does that mean? Definitions, how that came about, why it's important, and just I want to learn.
Okay, yeah, most certainly. A lot of states have now recognized Indigenous Peoples Day in lieu of what was formerly called Columbus Day. I think part of our history has indicated that Columbus discovered America, but we were already here. So I think it's re-narrating the historical truth and celebrating the original people who are already existing here, living, breathing, thriving cultures, languages, um, in every facet. And now to change the narrative and celebrate with us, not taken away from anyone else, but to really contextualize that we, our people are still here, we are still contributing, and to understand the representation of what that means and looks like across the board of our living existence and also our contribution, past and current and future, to bring diversity and really everyone to celebrate their own pieces of who they are.
Mm.
You know, like in elementary school, they used to teach us in 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And so they like nailed that in you so that you remember that. And it's that narrative that they teach you, that rhythmic rhyming thing, because it's still ingrained in me. And you have to unlearn these things to embrace the culture. And so when you look at culture and heritage, you look at it through these sunglasses, and sometimes you have to take off these glasses to just embrace the person.
So true. I it brings me back to I'm going to put the moose on the table again. That's what the drop was for. When I'm originally was born in Canada, so when I talk about the elephant in the room, I put the moose on the table, and that narrative is just unbelievably. I had Jane Elliott on the show, and she's brilliant. If you've never heard her, go watch on PBS's free Frontline, A Class Divided. She's the teacher who taught kids about racism by putting collars on them in Ohio in a school to teach them what it was like to be in the in group and the out group. And she presented in the interview this map. And right now, I have great memory, horrible recall. I can't remember the name of the map. But did you know that our entire globe and map system that shows North America to be so big, specifically the United States and Canada to an extent, it's out of whack. It's not even accurate. The real map of the world, and I'll look it up, is the proportion of the size is different. Did you know that, Dr. Crystal Lee?
I did not, and I learned something new today.
I'm so glad. And this is exactly why I didn't hear much about Indigenous Peoples Day, because I can hear the people saying, OMG, now we not only can't, we have to change our football team's names, now we got to change Columbus Day and what's going on in this world, and blah, 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 and mega, mega, mega. And I don't talk politics here, but I just want to highlight that we are never, ever, ever going to make America great until we recognize the truth about all of us and what we've done. Not great things. It's not about reparation. It's about balancing the narrative, which isn't a narrative. It's the truth of what happened when we came to America. And I was born in Canada, so I can't even, say that. But it's so, so, so important. So that's why Dr. Crystal Lee's here. Not only that, but I just want to anchor that one, because if we don't anchor this, we ain't ever going to be a great America.
Absolutely.
That was a moose drop.
Yes.
Love it. And I think with that, you know, the truth has to be the truth, and we have to speak about the truth, no matter how comfortable it may look like, because truth brings resolution. And when you're coming from a very truthful and honest space, it can then further the pipeline to resolution and solution-based outcomes. And so I like to be the one to state, yes, this happened, but how do we move forward? How do we collectively unify and continue to work together? We can always celebrate our diversity and still be unified.
But see, that's the
Absolutely.
issue there. A lot of people don't want to recognize people's diversity, and they just want to stay within their own, and they don't want to look at people and see them as different. They want to ostracize them for being different. And I think it comes into play how we raise our children, because if we don't raise our children to be more accepting, because children have to be taught to hate. They're not raised to hate. If you look at some of the studies, you'll see that children are taught that they, in school, they are open, they are accepting, they are loving, they play with one another. And when they go home, they pick up these biases that the adults in their home have. And when they go out, they then transfer them to their friends, and these are different learned behaviors. So if we can essentially go back to that innocence that we had, or even be more accepting and go through workshops and just even be more tolerant of one another. And you can say, well, gee, I don't want anybody to tolerate me, but do you want somebody to hate you instead? Or actively act out of that hate? Because then you look at that being extrapolated to you not getting a loan or you not getting a job, then it affects society as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Crystal, you were going to say something.
I think within that, I remember I was at UCLA School of Medicine during my postdoc. In my first year, I was just beating myself up because I felt like I didn't quote unquote fit in, that my thoughts, my ideas, my connection to my community was not fitting in the mold of how to drive science. And year two, I had to take a step back and rethink that process and say, wait, I didn't grow up like a lot of mainstream Americans. I grew up on the reservation. So, how I think, how I respond, how my ideas come to be is going to be different than everybody else. And why am I trying to fit myself into this box to fit in when I should, again, celebrate who I am and bring that to the table and bring my world into the field of science versus bringing science into my world.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that mindset, I had to really identify what my strengths were and are as a Navajo person and make it a hybrid with science and my culture and health and my community. And so I think for me, that was a novel challenge that I had to overcome. And I think that comes back with celebrating our diversity, because we as people can bring new innovation to the table. And these innovations are not coming from a mainstream capacity. And so and molding that um, is such a beautiful process. And I think more people can take advantage from understanding and celebrating our diverseness that we bring to the table. And look at us three right now, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Marissa, Dr. Tiffany. I'm just loving seeing our faces on here.
I didn't even think about that. This is like we are
A rainbow coalition.
we are definitely colorful women, right? In every sense of the tone. of the skin tone too. I love it. I love it. Thanks for yeah. And speaking of that, let me not lose your chin. If you could raise your head just a bit so your cap is under the kid. There we go. That way, when I take some still shots, we can yeah, we're the new Benetton. Right. All right. We have to take a quick break for news, weather, and traffic here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind, AM 1050, FM 106.5, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. We'll be right back in 2 and 2. That was what Chuck Woolery used to say. We're saying peace in, peace out. We'll be right back. Don't go away when we thank our sponsors. Thank you.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And it's Dr. Marissa about to report live on the red carpet of the 25th Newport Beach Film Festival, October 17th through 24th. And I'm, again, the proud sponsor of the Chinese Spotlight Film. And I get to give away free passes to the Pacific Showcase, which highlights and celebrates all things Asian film, food, and fun. So tune into my show. Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, to find out how to win passes for the Asian Oprah giveaway, as well as the promo code. So you can get discount tickets at www.newportbeachfilmfest.com. We'll see you there soon. And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, and the station that leaves no listener behind. If you are driving, please do not chat. But if you are not driving, go to my YouTube TV channel that houses all 1,240 something shows, but who's counting, as well as this week celebrating 650 consecutive weeks on the air. I am so grateful that the people who said this show about hope and happiness would not last more than a year were wrong. And I am still here. I can't even imagine ending the show anytime soon. I'm not retiring either. So we'll be taking this to the last breath. and the reason why is I get to bring fabulous co-hosts on here. This is my Wednesday special popular series called Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And today we are just delighted to have back in studio live Dr. Crystal Lee, who is the founder of United Natives, a very important nonprofit organization that is doing so much to help correct and balance out some misunderstandings about the whole Native American, the people, and also the opportunities. I think the stereotyping that has gone on way too long about, and I'll put the moose on the table, things around alcoholism, or, the unfair or fair correction of the past. I think it's time. It's time for us to balance out our understanding and also to take some responsibility. And that's why I love supporting United Natives. You can go to their website, unitednatives. Is it org or .com? It's
.org.
.org. Go donate. Also go participate. There's plenty of events that you can go and participate and learn. So that's my happy action for today for you. Now, Dr. Tiffanie, do you have a question for Dr. Crystal Lee?
Dr. Crystal Lee, what would you recommend that we do as a society to help improve the lifestyle for your people?
Great question. There's quite a bit. I think allyship is so key. And what does allyship look like? Um, Buying from our small businesses. There's a lot of great native designers and small businesses that we could support. We could, of course, donate to nonprofits. We could also align with some of our initiatives and see how that could be supported. And that varies with research the organizations in your neighboring cities or cities. I know if you all are based in LA area, there's a lot of great Native organizations there. Come out to our events and be a part of it, partake in it. So I think there's a lot of things that allyship consists of, but those are just to name a few currently.
This one is tomorrow. United Natives is this one correct? The MMIWR. Are you seeing this? I just pulled it up.
Yes, that's actually on October 24th, so next Thursday.
Oh yes. I go from covering the jazz festival to the Newport Beach Film Festival, so I don't know what day it is, but this is next Thursday. Opening is the 17th, which is tomorrow. Sorry. This is closing night. I won't be able to be there because of the festival, but this looks like a great event. Are you based in Las Vegas?
Yes, our headquarters is based in Las Vegas, although we're a national nonprofit, and we're hosting our inaugural Missing and Murdered Indigenous Relatives seminar, which is highlighting an epidemic that is transpiring in both in the US and Canada among First Nations / Native American communities. And to talk about what's missing and murdered Indigenous women epidemic for a lot of reasons, including jurisdictional reasons. A lot of our people have high homicide rates and sex and human trafficking rates because of our sovereign jurisdiction. So we really just want to address this problem, bring awareness to it, bring allies to it, to see how we could work at a community level, a state level, and a federal level to change this epidemic.
Okay, so this is like that, the truth around the killer moon. Is that the name of the movie I'm thinking of?
Killers
So
of
when
the
that
Flower
first
Moon.
came out, I was shocked that I asked, I was in the middle of the movie. I said, is this based on like, I love movies that are based on true facts, events that happened. And someone said to me, no, it's fictional. And then it's not fictional. This is
No.
like, this is true. This happens and it's happening now.
And in a way, yes. Again, if you watch the movie, yeah, it is based on actual facts of what our relatives in Oklahoma region went through. And still, unfortunately, Native women, we have the highest rates of homicide in the nation. We also have the highest rates of incarceration per population capita and sexual assault as well. And so, I don't I don't want to
So,
sound darkened, but it is an actual
no, it's not
horrible
dark. It's
atrocities.
true. It's true, and it needs
The
to
reality
be
is,
highlighted.
but if the reality is, it's not because of you. It's because of the population that you are. Statistically speaking, when you look at human trafficking and you look at the victims who are who are victimized because of human trafficking, they look at populations who are more susceptible. And like you said, because you are on a reservation, and you guys do have, because I met with police chiefs because I'm on different panels for human trafficking. Like I said, I love giving back to the community. And they look at populations who they can victimize. They look at populations who are more easily targeted. And while you do have a police force on the reservation, it's not as strong as it is within the general society. So they're easily able to target your people and get away with targeting your people. So you are a more vulnerable population. And it is an unfortunate reality. You have the homeless population, you have the unfortunate reality, the poor population, and you have the indigenous population. So they're more likely to be human trafficked. And so it's just the reality within society. And it's something that we as a people need to wake up and address.
Yeah, the whole, you said a term that isn't used a lot, or it is now being used, that I think deserves highlighting. And that was, the old term is reservation, right? The new term that you said, it's because it's a, and I forgot how to say it, because
A
it's
sovereign
a,
nation.
that's it. But because it's a sovereign nation. So sovereign nation means,
That we have our own political and legal jurisdiction. So when tribes were here, the federal government of the United States is still very new. It's only been in existence for about 268 years ish. And so the
you
US
wouldn't know
government,
that though.
yes, very new. And the federal, US federal government, when it was first being formed, they had already acknowledged that there were existing populations here. So we signed treaties with the US government. And the outcome of those treaties indicated that we are a domestic sovereign nation, which means we have our own government system. We are identified as a political party, not a racial ethnic group, because we have a sovereign status, which makes us a sovereign as states. The state of Arizona is a sovereign. Each state is their own sovereign with their state laws, with their state court systems. And so tribes are parallel to that, with the exception is if a federal crime such as homicide, um, trafficking is conducted on our sovereign tribal lands, we do not have the ability to try for those criminal cases. That's then handed to the US government to oversee and monitor. That's where the huge gap is. And as to why we're targets, is people know that they can pretty much go onto our tribal lands, commit crimes, and their recourse would probably not happen because we don't have as much monitoring and surveillance systems that the US government needs to handle.
That's wrong. That's
But
so wrong.
yeah.
So thank you for helping me understand that. So, like, people who are doing horrible things are protected almost if they violate on your land. So therefore it becomes like a preferred place to commit crime. It is basically what you're saying. Is that about accurate?
It's about accurate, yes.
Okay. So how do we, is legislation, you're trying to change legislation around this, or?
Absolutely. Our MMIR conference will bring in political allyship because we need unity across the board. We need tribal state coordination. We need to improve our federal legislation about how to give us our self determination to tackle this from a legal framework. And
Mm,
right now, we just don't have the permission from the US to do so.
And
okay.
here in California, with the tribes and the police station, they actually have police representation on the tribe. So they've actually agreed to let there be a satellite station on their reservation, on their sovereign nation. I don't want to use reservation, say today, on their sovereign nation to try to help minimize the crimes because of the human trafficking, with Mexico being right below and that being a human trafficking site. And so they've tried to coordinate some of that to minimize that here in California.
Mm-hmm. And this is the kind of awareness that we really have to be talking about. It's if we're not talking about it, nothing's going to change. After talking about it, y'all who say that, you're bored or there's nothing to do or things, I hate my job. Fine, go hate your job. And then in your spare time, instead of watching a series for hours and hours and hours, go and see if you want to be #BeTheChange. United Natives is a great organization for you to make a difference. So that is definitely, it's clear. If we really want to make the changes, it's got to start somewhere. And
you don't have to be that culture to be part of the change. You don't have to be Black to be part of a Black organization. You don't have to be Native American to be part of that organization and to support that cause. You don't have to be Hispanic to be a part of that organization, or Latin to be part of that organization, or Asian to be part of that organization and to support it. You can be part of any organization and support their cause. You don't have to be that to support.
Right. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because terms matter. And this is something that, as a diversity consultant, what's the right word to use? Political correctness. And my response is, do you want to be more effective with a larger group of people? Period. And do you want your intent to be respectful to be actually impacted as respectful? So Dr. Tiffanie caught herself with the reservations because of respect. It's not, I don't want to use the wrong term. I want to use the term that is going to be more respectful as we're talking. And even, I can't remember what his name was, got in trouble for saying your people, our people, your people, you. I think too, if we say our people all the time, it's not your people, it's our people. Everyone is our people, right? But the group that has been underserved or mistreated are the groups that deserve some attention and some correction. I mean, it's a readjustment. I'm not going to say correction because I don't want to call people wrong. We're in a place now where we can re-educate, recognize, return to the balance of the fairness for all. And I want it, Dr. Lee, I want you to bring up something that just shocked me the first time we did this interview. And that is what Navajo, is it Navajo that was the term that meant something derogatory? There was one of the tribes that is so, like, everybody knows about the Navajo Indians or whichever tribe it was. And why don't you use that term anymore? Please, I love this horrible story.
So yes, our tribe was given the name Navajo, and what that meant was negative connotation, thieves, things like that. And so we re-termed ourselves the Dene Nation, which means the people. Dene means the people. And there are a slew of tribes like the Lakotas. They don't like being called Sioux. They would rather be called the Lakota Nation because they were given the Sioux name as well, and they're re-terming themselves. And a lot of Native nations are doing as such. And all of us are reterming ourselves in our language, what means the people. We are the people.
Yeah, you were here way before Columbus got here. If you've just tuned in, this is Doctors in the House, my very special series on Wednesdays with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And we have 3 doctors in the house today. Dr. Crystal Lee. See what I mean? Dr. Crystal Lee is here to re-educate us on all things very important with United Natives, with the original people that were on our lands here, and the fact that I did not know that the names Sioux and Navajo, I thought they were the names that you use, but they were given. And how horrible is it for our country to give a name of Navajo, meaning thief, to the tribe? And so any of you, and I know you're all out there, what's the big deal with the renaming? La 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 la. It's not political. Please stop and just like for a second understand the importance of nomenclature, the of sayings. If I hear one more person say Indian giver, I swear I'm gonna go off because hello, who's the one that went back on their word? Not the Indian Nation. Hello. So please be very careful. One, if you're hearing people say stuff like that, you know, what you permit, you promote. Take a stand. Say, don't like beat them up or say, what are you, stupid? You know, just say, hey, I don't, I know you're not purposefully trying to be insulting, but it's kind of, it could be taken that way. You know, just like educate in a nice, kind way. You don't have to be brutally honest. You can be nice and kind, but do say something. Lord Almighty, we're supposed to be this, you know, first world country that is diplomatic and fair and democratic, and yet look at how we're treating the original people of our land.
Absolutely. And you know, sometimes people don't want to be corrected, even when you try to do it lovingly and kindly. And those people, you just say, bless your heart. Because if they don't want to be educated and taught how to respect other people's feelings, it's not your job to make them. It's your job to help educate and enlighten. And if they don't want to be educated and they don't want to be enlightened, you can't force them. It's
Yeah.
okay. Don't let them get your blood pressure up, stress you out. To God be the glory. Keep pushing it. Keep pushing. Do you, boo?
I've learned how to say bless you from Dr. Tiffany.
Yeah. That's the Southern thing. Bless your heart. Just keep pushing.
Dr. Tiffany, what else should we know? What else? We're coming to the last quarter of the show. Actually, it's last 10 minutes or
Yeah.
8
Well,
minutes.
when I was looking at this, I was looking at this saying, okay, we need to be culturally sensitive and more diverse, and we need to be more welcoming. And, you know, I always have to do a little bit of research. And so I was like, okay, I came across some interesting information that says, did you know that when it comes to like different boards and things like that, culturally diverse boards in the workplace and things, they're more productive. If you have women on the board, they're about 25% more diverse and more productive. And if you have ethnically diverse boards, they're about 35% more diverse. More productive. And basically, to break down the statistics, decision-making diverse teams have 87% better. They're 87% better at making decisions. The revenue of diverse management teams lead to 19% higher revenue. Productivity increased by about 32%, and market capture for diverse companies are about 70% more likely to capture new markets if they have culturally diverse teams. So
Wow.
if they look like us, the Rainbow Coalition, they're likely to be excellent. And they are about to have outperformance are about to be 35% if they're more inclusive and not, just monochromatic in terms of color.
That's great. Now, you just gave Dr. Crystal Lee ammunition to get you on the board. You realize that?
Yes.
And I actually want that data for my class tonight.
Okay.
because that's exactly what I've been telling my students. You want effective leadership, you've got to surround yourself by diverse people, because you really do make better decisions when you're diverse. So thank you for helping me with my last class tonight, Dr. Tiffanie.
You are
Dr. Cheryl Lee, you get the final word, and just whatever you want to share with us.
I have to wholeheartedly agree with Dr. Tiffany. I actually also sit on the board for L'Oreal USA, and I recognize the importance because when we're discussing, especially D&I initiatives, um, what my thought process looks like might be completely different from another, but we come to the table of bringing all these different perspectives, which ideally we succumb to an idea or an initiative that has input from all walks of life, and that brings us to a better outcome than if it were just a whole board that looks like myself. And so I definitely, within that context, do celebrate what diversity brings to that table. And just, I really just want to celebrate my family right now. Dr. Marissa, you had the pleasure of meeting my mom. And I just wanted to state that although have discussed a lot of the truths that a lot of our disparities are in, but I also want to end with what resilience that we have, and from a positive, capacity that although, I grew up on the reservation, I was lucky and fortunate enough to grow around my family and my culture and my community and my language, which has been my foundation as I walk through life and talk on all these outlets about what that is, such an honor to have existed in my lifespan, to come from such a strong people, a resilient people that still honors and practices our culture and our language regardless of what has been done to us. I think that has I have to pay homage to that most certainly. And I know um, Netflix produced a new film called Resball that was actually co-produced by LeBron James, and it just came out a couple of weeks ago. So in the film, they really highlight our language and how our youth is coming back to using our language as a form of resilience and power. And so in the movie, a lot of the youth in there were defeated. Of course, there's high rates of disparities, but they use culture and language as their sounding board to reclaim their power and to become successful within their basketball team. And that is such a story that we can all resonate with. Um, and also from the aspect of indigenous is everyone comes from somewhere. Although we were the first people here in the US, everyone comes from somewhere. So I challenge you and ask you to look up your own heritage. Whatever language you derive from, learn your language. Whether you come from India, Germany, Nigeria, Mexico, no matter where you come from, that there's a language there on in your part of the world that is part of you. So learn your own language and learn to celebrate your racial ethnic background. And I ensure you that it brings a sense of connection to yourself, a sense of connection to where you come from your ancestors, from your lineage, and which then produces such a balance because knowing where you come from and knowing your language that you come from is such a powerful tool to help you get through life because it just so empowering. So I would just invite everybody to do some more research and celebrate yourself in that way.
Beautiful. I think that's fabulous.
Absolutely. That is really great. And I did want to get back to you that the name of the map, let's see. Remember, I was telling you, and you didn't know that it was a different map. It's called the Pineal. It's a P, and there's actually a change.org thing, curriculum map versus accurate map. Can you see that?
Yes.
So it's a petition. So go on change.com. Yay,
Okay.
Ontario. That's where I was born. But this is it's the oh gosh, I forgot the name of it. I was going to say, but just go look up Jane Elliott and map. So if you want accuracy, this is how we start doing it, is correcting those things that are, rhetoric and inaccurate. Thank you so much, Dr. Crystal Lee. It's always such a blessing to have you. And for all the work that you do, I want to, again, I know I did it last time. You didn't have to do this. You're in infectious diseases. That's not, United Natives, but you and we don't have time to talk about, did you always like being Native American? Because I know I didn't always like being Chinese. And I came full circle in what you're saying, the embracing of our differences. I use it like instead of a melting pot, which is kind of bland, we're stew, like carrots, potatoes. I'm a carrot, but I'm not like the same as all other carrots. Right. And potatoes are not all the same, but together we make a gravy, and the gravy is that beautiful, rich, tasty stuff. But we can also balance that with who we are, in the core of who we are, in our differences as well. So that's my final word. Thank you, Dr. Tiffanie, for being the recipient again of Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award. Thanks for doing what you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Tiffanie, wrap it up. Final word.
My final word is be the change, be involved. Don't just sit idly by. Do something.
Beautiful. Thanks, all of you, for tuning in. The pair of tickets to the Newport Beach Film Festival Asian Oprah giveaway have been already given, but please go to NBFF, the Newport Beach Film Festival. It's running from the 17th to the 24th. Tomorrow's opening night. I'll be there on the red carpet. Go and support the arts and have a great time. Maybe Pierce Brosnan will be there again to flash piece with me. Maybe not, but it's a great time. I'm bringing Dr. Tiffanie as my date to that event. If you were here, Dr. Crystal, you'd be coming too, but you got your own event. But thank you so much for tuning in. We Straight Talk tomorrow, a Hollywood Rebel report on Friday. Keep it tuned here. It's all about balance. You ready with the fingers? Here we go. Peace in.
Thank you for coming, Dr. Crystal.
Pardon?
You.
Thank you for coming, Dr. Crystal.
World peace through inner peace. Now send them off together. Go and have the best day ever.
Take back your life with Dr.